Hey everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Movies for Life YouTube channel, and welcome to this 1982 horror movie review as part of my current and ongoing 1980s horror series. So the movie we're going to take a look at today is one that I do have the physical media for. I have the Blu-ray, Scorpion releasing, MVD Rewind collection, and that movie is from 1982, The House on Sorority Row. Now, some people have this as 1983. I know that it received a larger release across the U.S. in '83, but it was initially released in 1982, even on a limited basis. So I'm going to go with 1982. But yeah, The House on Sorority Row is a slasher movie that I kind of been looking forward to seeing for quite some time. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So, The House on Sorority Row is a 1982 American slasher film written and directed by Mark Rosman in his directorial debut and produced by John G. Clark. The plot follows a group of sorority sisters being stalked and murdered during their graduation party after they conceal a fatal prank against their house mother, Dorothy Slater. So, seven sorority sisters: Katie Rose, Vicky, Liz, Jeannie, Diane, Morgan, and Stevie celebrate their graduation at their sorority house on the far end of Sorority Row. Their party is interrupted by the domineering house mother, Mrs. Dorothy Slater, who forbids the celebration. Angered, the girls prank her by stealing her walking cane, placing it in the unused outdoor pool, and forcing her at gunpoint to retrieve it. Startled, Slater causes Vicky to accidentally shoot her in the chest. To cover up the apparent murder, the girls hide Slater's body in the pool. At the ceremony, an unseen figure uses Slater's cane to stab a partygoer. When guests attempt to enter the pool, the girls realize that turning on the lights will reveal the body. Stevie goes to the basement to disable the breaker but is stabbed to death. Later, when the pool lights are switched on, Slater's body is missing, heightening their alarm. Convinced Slater is alive, the girls search for her. Morgan enters Slater's room only for the body to fall on her from the attic hatch. Vicky suggests hiding the body in an old cemetery. In the attic, Katie discovers children's toys and a dead caged bird. Morgan is stabbed with Slater's cane. Diana is murdered while starting a van to transport the body. And Jeannie is decapitated near the sorority house. So yeah, that's how we get started with The House on Sorority Row. That's to set up the premise and the opening. As far as the cast goes, we have Catherine McNeil as Catherine, Katie Rose, Eileen Davidson as Vicky, Janice Zito as Liz, Robin Malloy as Jeannie, Harley Kozak as Diane, Jodie Draghi as Morgan, Ellen Dorsher as Stevie, Lois Kelso Hunt, Lois Kelso Hunt as Dorothy Slater, and Christopher Lawrence as Dr. Nelson Beck. So yeah, that's to set up the premise and the cast for the 1982 slasher movie, The House on Sorority Row. Boy, that's a saying sorority and row for me is difficult with the R's. I've always had trouble with. But anyway, I really enjoyed this slasher movie. I think this is an above average 80s slasher movie. Is it the best slasher movie or one of the best slasher movies of the 80s? Probably not, but I would say it's just in the next tier below that, I would say. So, and part of the reason might be this actually had a $400,000+ budget, which especially for that time was quite a bit for a slasher movie, when there were a lot of slasher movies released that were like 10, 20, maybe $50,000. This one was $425,000, and it really shows in the production and the shooting of the movie. So let's talk about what I liked the most about the House on Sorority Row. As I said, I think it's an above average I think it's an above average slasher with an interesting and compelling story, a solid twist at the end, and a very well shot movie. That just kind of summarizes my initial thoughts on it. I also really like the setting of the sorority house, in which the movie does a good job of utilizing the space, both inside and outside, especially with this dilapidated pool that they have at the sorority house. It sounded like in some of the interviews with the actresses that I listened to as part of the special features here, which you can see here on the back. It pretty much has interviews with all of them. And then this is a slipcover, obviously, and then we've got the inside there. But a couple of the actresses were saying that it was like an old abandoned hospital or medical facility or house of some kind. They weren't exactly sure, but the pool was pretty creepy, I guess, when they really shot there. So, but I really like the setting. I think it really works for this kind of horror movie, even as much or even more than like an overall college campus setting. Just having the sorority house and the outdoors associated with that, I think, is very effective for this movie. I enjoyed the characters enough here, especially Katie and Vicky. I would say those are the two that stand out. Of course, the characters are polar opposites of each other. One is the promiscuous, sort of bad girl, and one is the more innocent, try to do the right thing, final girl. That would be Katie, or Catherine, where Vicky would be more the promiscuous, is selfish, trying to look out for herself, basically. Kind of leads the rest of the girls to keep their mouths shut, not report it to the police what they accidentally do. But yeah, those two characters were interesting, and I thought they were pretty well performed by Catherine McNeil and Eileen Davidson, respectively. The rest of the girls are fine. I mean, some of them don't have a lot of screen time, and the acting, I would say, varies from being serviceable to pretty bad. But we'll get to that with my cons. But I did like those two characters, and really the group of girls as a whole. I found them, obviously it doesn't hurt when they're pretty easy on the eyes. They're all pretty nice to look at, especially Vicky. I think she would take the cake or take the trophy out of all of them. But they're all nice to look at, and they're all likable enough given the fact that they're involved in this cover up that they're trying to do. I found the two main ones interesting. I like the scene at the party where the camera pans around on all the party goers, and then the girls, they're looking nervous and based on the cover up, and I found that to be really well done. I thought that was a very nice element to add to the slasher movie, where it focuses on these 7 girls as the camera pans around the sorority house with all these other people in it, and they're all kind of looking at each other and looking out the window very nervously. They know they did something and they're covering something up. So that was a really effective scene. I think the score overall in this movie is really effective for a slasher movie. I think there's plenty of kills here. I think there's, like 6 to 8. Something like that. A decent amount of blood and gore with them. It's not the goriest movie, but there is a fair amount of blood. The best kills probably, or the best kill having to do with blood and gore is probably a decapitated head that we see in the toilet later on. And then finally, in my final pro is the look of the killer, which we don't see till the very end of the movie. That kind of got me. I wasn't expecting the killer to just sort of, like, they're in the background, but I didn't know that was going to be the killer, and all of a sudden it starts moving, and that was really effective for me. But the look of it is sort of like a clown or a jester from like an old fashioned court jester. I don't think there's a picture. Oh yeah, there is a picture of it right there. It's the only picture on the back, actually. But that was effective. Like I said, we only see it at the very end, like the last 5-10 minutes of the movie. But I thought that was fairly effective. So, yeah, lots to like about the house on Sorority Row as far as the slasher movie. As far as cons go, as I was starting to say, some of the acting isn't great. You could tell this was the first acting job for many of these young actresses, i.e. the actress that played Morgan, Jodie Draghi. She's the one that has the terrible line, "How do we know if she's really dead?" It's really cringe, man. just the delivery of that line is terrible. And so, yeah, some of the acting's not great, but when you consider early 80s slashers, I think the acting's more serviceable here than other 80s slashers, especially the lower budget ones. The final confrontation between Katie, the final girl, and the killer, I kind of wanted a bit more from it. A little bit more of a chase and slash going on there. It kind of ends abruptly. It gets resolved too quickly, and as a result, I wasn't quite as satisfied as I thought I would be, as I was looking for the payoff to be. So that was kind of disappointing. I mean, you finally see the killer and what he looks like, or what they look like, and within a matter of like a minute or so, maybe a little bit more, the killer is put down, shall we say, for good? Probably not, but at least put down for the movie that we see. So yeah, I kind of wanted more there. Most of the kills are done with this cane that Mrs. Slater had. This has a bird at the top of it, and then it's got like at the end of it, there's like a, I guess there's like a, I don't know, not like a switchblade kind of knife or something sharp on the end, like a blade, but it's a lot of stabbing with that. And I don't know, I just found that weapon kind of lame, to be honest with you. It just kind of it wouldn't be my weapon of choice for a slasher movie, but that's a bit of a nitpick. Otherwise, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm really glad to have it in my collection. The Scorpion releasing Blu-ray here by MVD Rewind Collection. I like the fact that it's got, you can tell this was a VHS cover. Warning, this video cassette will melt if left in the car. But anyway, yeah, just kind of showing you the front and the back again. But this is one of the better slashers that I've seen so far in the 80s, I would say. Again, not like top tier, but it's like second tier for me. And I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10 overall. 8 out of 10 for the house on Sorority Row from 1982. I know there was a remake of this from 2009 that's just called Sorority Row. I don't have that movie, nor have I seen it. I have heard from some people that it's decent for a 2000s remake from a previous movie. So I'll probably check it out at some point, but really enjoyed this one. So 8 out of 10 for the original, The House on Sorority Row from 1982. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys think of this slasher movie. Do you like it? Do you not? Comment down below. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would really help me out for the future content on my channel overall going forward. But with all that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying this series. We're in almost the second half of the final month for 1982 here. A lot of movies for 1982. In fact, I can't tell you that I was going to do a top 15 movies of 1982. Nah, I'm just going to do a top 20 because there's way too many horror movies and too many good ones, in my opinion, as you'll find out at the end of this month, to narrow it down to 15. So just like 1980 and 81, it will be my top 20. With all that being said, though, thank you for watching, and as always, stay scared. Bye.